This is the Amber Room, a 180 square feet room covered with 6 tons of amber and other precious stones. It was valued back when it was built at $142 million in today's money, and it is considered by some to be the 8th wonder of the world. The only problem is, no one knows where it is now. Russian Tsar Peter the Great received this room as a gift from Prussia in 1716 to celebrate peace between the two countries. It was installed in the Winter House in St. Petersburg, and later it was moved to the Catherine Palace in Pushkin. But like a lot of other national treasures and forms of art, the Amber Room suffered an ill fate at the hands of the German Nazis when they invaded Russia during World War II. So where is the Amber Room now? Let's find out what happened to it.
Sie mögen ein Diktat als Diktat uns aufoktroyieren.
On June 22, 1941, Hitler launched Operation Barbarossa with the aim to capture Russia's economic resources and enslave its people into forced labor, which he thought will help Germany win the war in the West. As German soldiers advanced into Russian territory, killing anyone they encountered and looting everything that they could find, curators in the Soviet Union feared that the Amber Room could be looted and destroyed as well, so they attempted to remove it and hide it. However, the amber had dried out and became brittle, which made its removal almost impossible. The curators then tried to hide the Amber Room under a disguise: wallpaper. But the wallpaper was poorly done, and the ruse did not work on the German soldiers who were sent from the Army Group North to Catherine Palace for the sole purpose of retrieving the Amber Room and take it back to Germany as a symbol of victory and pride. The looted Amber Room was later set up in Königsberg Castle, where it remained on display until the city was almost completely destroyed by the Royal Air Force bombardments and the Red Army advancing from the east. So what happened to the Amber Room? Was it also destroyed during these bombardments? Let's see what happened. Declassified Russian documents from the war era show that the Soviet Union concluded that the Amber Room was most likely destroyed in the resulting damage to the castle. But they also show that despite of that, they continued looking for it within the premises of the city, which prompts people to believe that it may have survived. There are other unconfirmed eyewitness accounts who claim to have seen German troops loading the Amber Room on board of the Wilhelm Gustave, which was later torpedoed and sunken in the Baltic Sea. But years later, there were many exploration dives to the wreckage and no one was able to locate the Amber Room. According to another story, a German miner saw a group of soldiers load a train with tons of gold, jewels, and other looted valuables and hide the train in tunnels and the Polish mountains called the Owls. If this is true, could the Amber Room also have been loaded onto this train? Has anyone ever since tried to find this hidden treasure? Well, it seems that someone did. In August 2015, treasure hunters Piotr, Koper, and Andreas Richter held a press conference where they claimed that they have located a 320-foot-long train in the Polish town of Wałbrzych, 8 to 9 meters in an underground railway tunnel used by the Nazis during Project Ricey. Ricey is said to be the code name of a war-era Nazi construction project in the Owl Mountains. This project is said to be consisted of 7 underground structures linked by a web of tunnels. It is unclear what the purpose of these underground structures was. Some say the structures were part of the Führer headquarters. Others say they were a group of underground weapon factories. No one knows for sure because there is little documentation about this project, and it is estimated that only about 10% of the tunnels have been discovered or explored after the war ended. Koper and Richter informed Poland's Deputy Culture Minister, Piotr Zukowski, that they have located a buried train that is more than 100 meters long in one of these underground tunnels. They claim that they used an old railway map of the area from 1926, which showed the existence of tunnels around an old railway station in Walim. And upon using underground radar to produce images of the area, they showed what appeared to look like a train. They even went further to claim that they think this train may contain the remains of the Amber Room, as well as other valuable treasures. And the only way to find out for sure was to dig. Academic experts from university in Krakow used magnetic equipment to search around the same area but found no traces of a train or a tunnel. Based on this information, authorities were reluctant to provide permits for digging, but local people who support the legend and confirmed they've heard it so many times before angrily protested at the site and demanded authorities to allow them to dig. After caving to these demands, local authorities gave a permit to Koper and Richter to dig in 3 designated areas that they highlighted in their report. Using heavy machinery and digging 3 pits for many days, they found nothing. They couldn't even find an entrance to the tunnel that they claimed was there. So, is the legend just not true, or were they just digging in the wrong place? After the first failed search attempt, Koper and Richter parted ways, citing opinion differences. But this was not the end for Koper. He is convinced that the train and the lost treasure are real, and he's not willing to give up yet. In July 2021, Koper announced that he and his team had identified what they believe are the remains of the Nazi gold train, but this time in a totally different place. Using ground-penetrating radar, a bottom sonar, and an underwater drone, they found signs that indicate the presence of huge amounts of steel at the bottom of a lake in the Polish village of Zarska. To confirm these findings, they even enlisted the help of Marcel Korkus, a world-renowned diver who holds many records. After diving into the lake, Marcel said that what lies at the bottom was a lime kiln, and he even went further to say that he thinks it's highly unlikely that the train is down there. Even after this unfortunate turn of events, Koper still believes that something could be lying at the bottom of this lake, and he is still seeking permission to search using ground-penetrating radar and dig in for samples from the bottom of the lake. Will the authorities play ball with him this time? Nobody knows. Could the legend just be that, a legend? What we know for sure is that the German Nazis did loot a lot of art and valuable items from the regions they occupied. What happened to these looted treasures is anybody's guess.